Hi everyone, thank you for being here today. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Latief Rahmatullah Pasha Wangdi. My presentations will last for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. Today I'll be talking about presupposition in pragmatics. My presentation is divided into 5 parts. First, I'm going to discuss about what is pragmatics. And second, it's going to be the definition of presupposition. And the third is going to be the characteristics of presupposition. And the fourth is going to be the types of presupposition. And the fifth, it will be a conclusion of presupposition. What is pragmatics? Pragmatics is the study of language, meaning in a specific context. This includes the location of the thing being said, who is saying it, and what you have already said. Pragmatics also look at how people communicate when they both know something. It investigates how people can communicate even when the words are ambiguous. In conclusion, pragmatic competence is the ability to understand what someone is trying to say. Presupposition definition. First, it is an assumption generated by a speaker prior to making an utterance. Secondly, it is a meaning considered given without being stated in an utterance. And finally, it is a presumed to be shared belief that is taken for granted by the speaker or writer and are expected to be used for interpreting the message. I will give you an example of presupposition. First, Tom didn't go to Canada again. It presupposes that Tom doesn't want to go to Canada again. And it also could mean that Tom went to Canada before. And secondly, have you stopped playing games? It presupposes that you had once played a game. Another example of presupposition is that, when will you be home, Latief? Latief will presume that you want to go to Latief's home. But what if you actually just asking and you won't be going to Latief's home? It actually belongs to characteristic of presupposition. Presupposition characteristic. First, it is remain the same under negation. The presupposition of the statement will remain true even when that statement is negated. So, Latief will still presume that you will be going to his home, but in actual, you won't be going to his home. And secondly, presupposition characteristic could be cancelable when it inconsistent with background assumption or real-world knowledge. For example, if I were rich, I would buy a McLaren, but the real-world knowledge is I'm not rich. Therefore, it is not valid that you will buy a McLaren. And it could also be cancelable when it inconsistent with certain discourse of context. For example, the bank told you that your savings are empty. Therefore, you're not rich and you can't buy a McLaren. And it also cancelable when it is inconsistent with conversational implicators. For example, if I were rich, it could imply that you might actually have a lot of money in your savings, or you might not. So it's questionable whether you this or whether you that. Types of presupposition. There are 6 types of presupposition. Number 1, it is existential presupposition, denoted by an existence of something or someone. For an example, Latief has a brother. There exists a person named Latief, and he has a brother. Number 2. Factive presupposition, denoted by factual verbs such as know. I know it's huge, therefore it presupposes that the thing is huge. Number 3. Non-factive presupposition, denoted by non-factual verbs such as imagine. I imagine that I have a McLaren. Because it is non-factual, the person don't have a McLaren. Number 4. Counterfactual presupposition. What is presupposed is not only untrue, but also contrary facts, and is typically realized by conditionals. Number 5. Lexical presupposition. This realized by verbs such as implicative verbs, manage or forget. And it also can be change of state verbs, stop, begin, start, and etc. And it also could use repetitive words such as again, anymore, and etc. For an example, you failed again. Therefore, it means the presupposed meaning is that the person was failed before. And number 6. Structural presupposition, typically realized by WH questions, such as when are you coming to class? Therefore, it presupposes that the person in question will come to class. That brings us to the end of our presentation. In conclusion, presupposition help communications become brief because both communicators already know the hidden assumptions of the conversations. I sincerely appreciate your attention. Thank you. Goodbye.